Welcome to the Legion Outriders podcast, your source for the latest Legion news, opinion, and analysis. And now, the Outriders.
Hello, Outriders, and welcome to episode 155. Yes, 5 of the Legion Outriders podcast. I had to stop and think for a second because we recorded this in 2 separate parts.
You had to pull your socks off there to do the count, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's only a few ways I can count that high, but wow, 155. And I am Outrider Matt, and with me today...
Outrider Dan, as usual.
And...
Got Tumnus here.
Yes, Tumnus is back on the show with us today. We felt the need to have as many guests as possible on this episode. So we've got Tumnus in here. We're going to be talking some points changes and some other fun stuff going on. And then later we've got an interview with BearChemist, who's going to be joining us to talk about all things Las Vegas Open because, well, the tickets are already sold, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, well, the big package is out. I think there's a few a la cartes left. Well,
but we'll talk more about that with him here in the second part of the program. But before we get started, we'd like to take a second to thank our patrons that make recording and publishing the show possible. Specifically, we'd like to thank Diff. Some things you may not know about Diff. That is his actual name. It's like Cher or Bono or Santa Claus. But Diff also created a time machine so he could go back in time to replace the creator, inventor of the sauna. That's how Finnish he is. And then destroyed the plans for said time machine so that no one else could do the same thing to him. So thank you, Diff. This episode's featured Outrider. And if you're enjoying the show and would like to support it, head on over to patreon.com/Legion Outriders. On today's show, what do we got, Dan?
Oh, we've got all sorts of new, exciting updates, changes, erratas. I don't even know what anything in this game is anymore.
Welcome to how I live my life. Tums, how you been, bud? It's been a little bit since we had you on the show.
Yeah, doing good. Just getting ready to actually go on a very long vacation, 3 weeks without having to go to work. So looking forward.
Wow. Got all that PTO used up for the year.
Yep.
So what have you been doing recently, Legion related?
Legion related. This last weekend, I betrayed my wonderful empire and played CIS.
Good for you. Yes.
Yes.
Heresy.
But I did win our little local tournament, going 3-0. Took a Naboo invasion force. So I took double tank, 8 B1s, and a T1.
Well, I guess if you put in the effort to build 8 squads of B1s, I guess you should run it once or twice.
Did you?
Yeah.
I grilled him about the 2 tank thing. And I was like, wow, if you own 2 tanks.
I was a little bit of a schmuck. I borrowed from a friend. I have 4 kids, so time to build that many models is not really in my skills.
No, they have small fingers. It's great for building B1s. You put them to work.
Oh man, I could imagine all the glued fingers and just everything mismatched and all over the place.
Wouldn't be the worst thing on the face of the planet. I'd more be worried about their fingers being stuck together and trying to figure that
too. Yeah, stuck to their faces and their hair. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. So, okay. Well, that's good. Did you get to Bay Area Open?
Yes, I did.
Oh, how did that go for you?
Worst showing ever in a competitive tournament, but had a blast with the guys.
I was wondering. I didn't hear anything from you on it.
Yeah. So there was actually 5 of us from the Portland area who came down, and 2 of us actually were in the top 8. So.
There you go. See, balance in all things.
Exactly. The 2 Kyles who went down, we didn't do so hot. Our other guy went a little right down the middle of the road, and then we had 2 guys in the top 8. So it just complete and utter balance across the board for the Portland area going down to BAO.
As all things should be. Very nice. But yeah, we've got so many things to talk about with the points changes and a little bit of errata going on. But before we get into that, how about some Star Wars news?
Well, I guess I'll start off with the bad news.
if you say it in a good way, it won't seem so bad.
The Galactic Star Cruiser is closing permanently?
Oh, no!
Oh, darn.
Yeah. So, yes, has been announced that the Galactic Star Cruiser will have its final voyage from September 28th to the 30th, 2023. I mean, honestly, we probably saw this coming, though a little sooner than I actually expected.
Yeah, for sure. I kept holding out hope that one of us would win the lottery, and then after we did everything else we ever wanted to do, then we'd go on the Star Cruiser. But I am legit sad that, a little sad that it is closing down, because I think it could have been a cool experience. It reminds me of the Star Trek experience that they had.
Oh, yes.
That's what I felt like this was kind
right
of
in the childhood right there.
Right. And I never got to do that either. And
What? You didn't get to do that?
I never did that. No.
Really?
Yeah. I was poor.
Well.
That's probably the only reason why I'm not super upset with it all crashing, because I'm like, I'm poor. This felt like a complete greed grab. So a little bit of schadenfreude and sadness, just everything rolled into one.
It's too bad they couldn't have been priced a little bit better, but I guess we'll never know now. Sad.
Yeah. Now, of course, because I pay attention to the Hollywood conspiracy theories.
Oh God!
One very interesting thing, and I'm not going to go deep in this.
All right, let me get my tinfoil hat. Hold on.
Yeah, if you look at the timestamp that this story was released, Kathleen Kennedy was at the Cannes Film Festival in the middle of the screening of Dial of Destiny when this dropped. Meaning Disney released this article when Kathleen Kennedy and her staff were occupied and couldn't respond to it.
Okay. But so you think that they didn't know about it?
No, well, I think this was dropped purposely to make her look bad, to give some leverage to maybe some upper management, Bob Iger, to kind of usher her towards the door.
Do this movie shoot stuff, Dan. He's like QAnon for movies, and specifically, it's crazy pants. At least Tums is reasonable here. He's got he can be the middleman between us.
So yeah, the announcement that Willow was being pulled from Disney Plus was also within the same time that she was in the screening too. So yeah. Anyway,
I mean. Anyways,
what
else you got? Anything else?
The other small bit of slightly sad news is Mark Hamill's been doing the interview and press circuit for his new movie, The Machine.
The Machine,
yeah, yes, The Machine. But he had an interview on CBS's News Sunday morning show, where they asked him, actually, would you ever come back as Luke Skywalker?
Oh, I saw his answer to this, at least in all the clickbait articles that were generated around it.
Yeah. So the exact quote is, well, you never say never, but I just don't see a reason to. Let me put it that way. I mean, they have so many stories to tell. They don't need Luke anymore. I've had my time. That's good, but that's enough.
They've got deep fake data for him now. Really, we're kind of done. So
yeah. And I mean, there was a follow-up question. I didn't put it in the notes here that said if he was okay being recast, and he was okay being recast. So
that's a good thing. Yeah. Who was the guy that it was in Mandalorian that was his body double and was one of the lieutenant pilots?
Yes, I know who you're talking about, but I don't have his name.
Yeah, I'd be absolutely fine to see more. What do you think, Tums? Yeah.
Oh, I'm deep faking is fun. And doing all those things and seeing the progression in the technology is great. But on rewatch, it's just always nowhere near as good. And I just look at it every single time and I'm like, you could have just gone with the person you had originally put in as the body double. And my suspension of disbelief would have been completely fine. Like, I love Rogue One, still by far most favorite Star Wars of the new stuff, Star Wars movies of the new stuff. And when I rewatch it and see the CGI Tarkin and I'm just like, I'm pulled out of it for a split second. And then I get back into it and I'm like, you could have just gone with the guy who was there. He was close enough looking and you everyone would have been fine.
Yeah. No, I think you're absolutely right there. If they're going to be using somebody like the one-off episode for, onesie twosie like they did for Mandalorian, that's cool. Fine, do it. But if they're going to have an ongoing series, like I really hope they do for the Academy, recast him. That's fine. It was fine for Solo, and I think it would work here. But yeah, it's funny you mentioned Tarkin, because I swear now every time I watch the original trilogy, I'm kind of squinting with my eyes. I'm like, is it just psychosomatic that I know it's a deep fake in Rogue One? Is it because Peter Cushing's just an odd looking guy in general?
He is.
He totally has that, almost like with how striking his entire face is. It's almost kind of like a Skeletor-esque thing where you're just like, everything is crazy exaggerated, but you're just like, but he still looks normal, but it's just not at the same time.
Yeah, there's a reason he was in all those like Hammer monster films back in the day, because he's not classically beautiful, let's say. But
and there's always what the internet was hot for a while there, was Sebastian Stan. Yeah.
Okay, so I know exactly what you're talking about, and that picture was modified.
Oh, yeah.
Like they had actually blended the face already to make it look like him, and he's not actually that close. But it's still, recast is okay. That's fine. Yeah. What else you got?
We can talk about it on our other cast, but Shatterpoint got released since we last recorded.
Oh yeah, I heard something about that. Yeah, another Shatterpoint hopefully coming up soon.
Yeah, and we were talking about it before the show. I was, and for the patrons here that can see the camera, this is how far I am. So not very far with building my models. They are primed and sub-assembled, but yeah. You
have more assembled, but mine are complete. And mine's just down to pure laziness and trying to get a game in. But anyways.
Yeah. And finding a game store that'll support you on that. Well, you found that store, but. Yeah.
Actually, one of the guys that listens to the podcast contacted me. He moved to the area, so he said that he'd be down to play.
Nice.
So I need to I'm actually going to try to see if he's free Saturday evening.
Hey, it's a long holiday weekend coming up, so.
Yeah. More on that.
Ahsoka series got its new trailer and the announcement of its date of August 23rd.
Man, it's a good day.
The trailer looks good.
Strange New Worlds is back out today with season 2. Ahsoka's on the horizon. So much good stuff.
Lower Decks cameo in Strange New Worlds is going to be awesome. But anyway,
yeah.
my entire household cannot wait for Ahsoka.
Yeah, I know your wife is a big Ahsoka fan, so yeah, I bet you're just in bunches over it. I haven't watched the trailer. I don't want to watch the trailer. I just want to watch.
You haven't watched the trailer?
No. Somebody already talked about the something that was left behind by somebody or other, and I was like, oh yeah. No, I don't want to watch anymore.
You may need to rewatch the last season of Rebels or something, I guess.
It's been a little while. It has been a couple of years, so that might be in order. But I try not to look too hard at the trailers, because as much as I geeked out on the last season of Mandalorian, like seeing those trailers ahead of time, I was waiting for all those moments to happen. I was like, oh, here's the dropship part. Okay, cool. Yeah. I don't want to do that with this. I just want to let it unfold like a lotus petal.
Well, you did watch the Star Wars Outlaws trailer, though.
I
right?
sure did.
Yeah.
And apparently, according to the news articles, everybody wants to bang a BX droid. So,
a BX droid in a trench coat.
To each their own.
There's a little bit of Lando in all of us, or at least there should be.
So yeah, Star Wars Outlaws being released by Ubisoft. So be expected to climb a lot of towers, I guess.
We'll see. Yeah, I don't know. It looks cool. It looks really cool. I can't wait to see more on that.
Well, you can see more at San Diego Comic-Con.
End of July.
Yep, July 20th to 23rd.
Same weekend of Lone Star Open. Speaking of, we got a little news on Lone Star Open coming up too. Yeah, that's the only reason I'm not going to Comic-Con this year. So, because I'm going to Allen, Texas. The Texas town with a name so boring, they named it Allen.
Apologies to all of our listeners named Allen, but
you know what I'm talking about, Allen.
Last bit of Star Wars media news is, Disney shuffled all of their major movie releases. With, of course, anyone who does follow Hollywood news, there is a writer's strike going on right now.
There is, yes.
Yep. So
remember the last writer's strike?
Oh, yeah.
And how it ruined like the biggest television show phenomenon at the time, Heroes.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Yep.
Yeah. I give them what they want.
Yeah.
I negotiate with terrorists. I don't care. Give them what they want.
Okay, solidarity with the Union Brothers.
That's right. That's right.
The funniest non-Star Wars thing I heard out of this, though, is, of course, Deadpool 3 is currently filming. And the agreement that Ryan Reynolds has is anything he improvs on set technically gets credited as writing. And because the strike is on, he's not allowed to actually improv on set right now because it would break the strike.
Wow. Wow.
So until that gets resolved, he can't actually do any improv on set.
How does that just not halt production? That entire movie just feels like improv for him.
Right? Yeah, it's I bet that he's doing it, but they're not going to put it in the final cut until there's a resolution, and then they're like, all right, here's the good stuff, you know?
Well, what's the nice thing about that is since he wears the mask and you can't see his mouth, they can just cut any joke in or out, like with very minimal editing. But for Star Wars related...
Yeah.
Sorry?
Unfortunately, because of that, you got that really unfortunate cut with the Francis scene in the first movie that was really confusing. But anyways...
Disney's previous slate had an untitled Star Wars movie for December 19th, 2025. That's been removed. And with the reshuffle, there's now 2 untitled Star Wars movies in 2026. One is May 22nd and one on December 18th. So if this holds, and honestly, I'm not holding my breath, it's probably not, there could be potentially 2 movies releasing in 2026.
That would be amazing. I'm ready.
I'm going to cross fingers for a birthday present for that December.
There you go. There it is. Do it for Tums. Don't do it for me. Do it for him. Come on. Or do it for me. That's fine too.
You mentioned LSO.
Yes. Hot and Frosty, Mr. Zane, he sent us a message and we talk about it later. Spoiler in the interview later with Jordan BearChemist. They have sold out the original run of tickets for Lone Star Open. They had 10 left. They're creating more. They've got standby lists. So go check it out if you want to go. Get registered ASAP. It's a great event. I still kick myself I wasn't able to make it last year. So I'm working off of 2 years ago, which was awesome. I assume it's just getting better and it's going to be an amazing time. All of your wildest dreams will come true if you go to Lone Star Open. Zane assured me.
As long as one of those dreams is seeing Matt in person.
Yeah, probably. As long as nothing comes up. I've got my plane ticket and hotel, so... Wow, thanks for putting that out there, Dan. I guess I'm doing it to myself, but anyways.
So, points.
Points, yes. We finally got the long-awaited points rebalancing with some interesting choices here. How do we want to do this? Do we want to go through the... I think most people have probably heard it already. Do we want to just hit the highlights?
Yeah, I mean... We can go by faction here.
Tums, why don't you pick one that you were surprised by? Let me put you on the spot there.
Yeah. Put me on the spot.
Surprised, pleasantly, rudely surprised.
There wasn't really like any major thing that I was surprised by. In all honesty, I was more surprised at sort of the light-handedness of it all.
Yeah.
Most things being smaller changes, but I'm definitely happy about my boy Callus finally getting some love that he 100% needed.
Oh yes, and which Callus, a product of the Outriders podcast.
This is factually accurate. I cannot fault you for that because it is. Well, I mean, I'm sure somebody else like created the character, but we're still going to take credit for it anyways.
Yes.
Good job, us. And specifically Josh. Somewhere I'm sure he's smiling down at us from his lofty place up in the Well, I guess he's not dead, so whatever.
No. I heard from him recently. He's building his Shatterpoint stuff as well. He's bought into that. So.
Oh, yeah, that's right. But Callus, he lost 5 points, but more importantly...
Yeah, his bow rifle dropped
bow staff
to 5 points.
Yeah, so that dropped 10. So an overall savings with his bow staff of 15 points. That seems like a very good step in the right direction.
Yeah, because he was previous to this, he was 90 points, and now him with his staff is 90 points, which I think puts him in a great price point for dropping in.
And remember, this is the second time Callus's bow staff has decreased in cost. Its original cost was 25 points.
They really valued that thing high.
They really did. Yeah. They're like, wow, this guy's just too cool with this thing. So we got to make sure people pay for it.
It was the mutton chop tax.
It was. Yeah. Because you're not going to wear that dumb helmet. No. You got to go with the one without. Let's see. What else was really big in here?
I mean, there was the expected things of the heavy response unit storms going up.
Yeah. I think everybody was kind of expecting that. Some adjustment to the blizzards.
The Imperial Officer went up as well, so that really...
Dan.
Yeah, I know. Becky is Hero of the Empire, and even at her new price point, is still a Hero of the Empire.
Well, at the same time, with Veers coming down as well and making it only 20 points difference between the two of them,
is it 20 or is it? Let me see here.
Yeah, because she's now up to 15. He's now down to 70. There's only a 20-point difference between the two.
It's less than you think, actually, because Becky's usually toting in the extra binoculars for another 8 points.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
and so then at that point, you're only a 12-point difference.
Staying so far from the front lines.
You get the red dice and Pierce. So.
Yeah, you get the red defense dice. You get the slightly better, and then you get 2 good command cards.
Yeah,
we don't talk about his 2-pip, but
yeah, even in vehicle lists, his 2-pip is only just kind of okay.
Yeah, it's not the best. You're right.
12 points is still hard to dig up. I mean, that's pretty much a lot of. Pretty much everyone's bid if you're going to bid deep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's for me, it's just the fact that it's no longer this instant choice. Oh, if I want to support commander, I'm taking Becky. It's like, well, if you got the points and there really isn't a reason not to take Veers,
time to say, don't worry about it, Darius, because I'm a mile high and I'm the scariest. And get some Veers in your life.
It's just the fact of, hey, I have a bounty. Well, Veers is a lot harder to kill in comparison when you're looking at a bounty. So, and we're seeing a lot of bounty because of everything. So,
well, yeah, because that Callus combined with Lando also dropping to 90 points, it's putting a lot of contingencies out there. So it's really helping double bounty lists. And since, the Rebels can rock that double bounty list now.
Yep. Yeah, speaking of Rebels, holy cow, I embrace and endorse and sign off on every single change in there. And I think it was long needed. A lot of the good things Lando, Luke, Commander Luke, Leia, and then the Mando stuff. Tauntauns went down a little bit. Andor I think that's a free weapon for him now. Jeff would be the one to ask about that. But
yep, it's a free weapon now.
Some upgrades for the land speeder. Oh, man. Yeah, it's just everything. I agree with everything there. It was just a little bit overcost. Well, some of it was a lot overcosted for what you got, but this was definitely very helpful.
Splemo still costs a point.
I said with Splemo. It's a point I will gladly spend every time I take a X-34, which is, I think, exactly once.
I guess on this point, I'm surprised to a certain extent that Commander Luke's didn't get even a little bit more cheaper.
I know what you're saying, and I think so too. But yeah, I mean, who knows? Like you said, this was kind of a minor swing, and I know that they've from past interviews they like to do that. They don't like to make sweeping changes or big changes because sometimes things will get out of hand, like Force Choke. So Force Choke, do we dare get into it?
Went up 5 points to 10.
Yeah, and got nerfed.
Yeah, it got a just a slight tweak.
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah, so no longer targets mini, now targets the whole unit. And of course, with Defender being able to choose where damage goes, well, there's no more sniping heavies or leaders or personnel.
Which is fine. That's not the part I have the problem with. You know, that always felt bad for an upgrade to be able to do that.
But it was the only upgrade in the game that could do well.
Right. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, how many people get first strokes? Come on.
Yeah.
But it got more expensive, and they took away the abusive part of it, I guess. I don't know. Oh, Tums, please. You have a comment.
I believe this is a preemptive nerf.
Yeah.
Because the Empire is about to get 2 more dark side users that are probably going to be relatively cheap, and having a decent chance of running 3 chokes in one list and being able to go, oh, all of your cores no longer have heavies in 2 rounds. Now have fun.
Okay. You make a very good point there, sir, because before that, they had Vader, they had Palp, and if they were playing that against you, you'd probably say thank you and eat the force jokes. But
the only other one who could do similar was CIS, because you could get Dooku, Maul, and Ventress, but all 3 of them together, plus trying to get other stuff, you were really strapped.
3 squads of B1s, absolutely naked. Some backup B1 Rogers in the back.
Yeah, I mean, they were the cheap spam faction, so if anyone could do it, it was them.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's a great point you make. I think they should have just left the points that it was and make the nerf. I think that would have been fine. But that is something, yes, they're always in motion, the future is. So I have a feeling that's them trying to prognosticate that could be possibly abusive, as you say. Okay, what else we got in here? Imperial Boba Fett going up 10 points. Because that was an issue.
He was a little overtuned because in every bounty list had Boba.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to do a bounty list, you're going to get Boba Fett because they don't have Dengar. So you got to go somewhere.
We can't integrate any disintegration.
Yeah, it was there because at least in the case of when you're looking at like Din Djarin, like so many of his things were upgrades versus built in.
Yeah.
So you can always choose to go cheaper with Din, where Boba Fett, it's like, no, you got all these things built in, and their viability of those things and other that got better. So
on that point, I actually, considering how relatively less Din is run, I'm actually surprised he didn't get any adjustments this time around. Thinking about it.
Yeah, they're probably just waiting for more data on that. Yeah, if he's not getting run a whole lot, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't. Who knows? Gar getting a big boost there. Did you know that there is a support platform model for them? I didn't even know, but apparently there is, and it got a lot cheaper.
Well, it's funny, the Fluttercraft gunner getting cheaper, because that thing actually is really cheap.
It's pretty cheap as it is, but that gunner was pretty costly. Saber went down 10, and then the Lat, Padme, Rex, and ARC Trooper full squads went down 5 points or more. I guess 6 points for the ARC Trooper.
Yeah,
that's
70
cool.
points for a NAS with a gunner in it. I mean, the only thing keeping people from running that, I think, is the physical model itself.
It is. Yeah. I mean, even Wookiee of the Year John, I don't think he ever got the Fluttercraft going, which, if anybody was going to. No, I've seen a couple of them out on the tables at LVO, but
in
not
doubles,
too often.
What was it, 2 years ago? Jeff and I went up against a quad Fluttercraft doubles list.
Wow.
That was a hot mess. Yeah. As far as the hot mess that they overrun over our face, but
oh really? Oh yeah, as you would think. Let's see. Gar Saxon Mando Super Commandos, swoops all went down 5 points. Swoops. I'm still going to do something with swoops. I swear. There's 2 boxes sitting in there since they came out, and I want to make some swoop guys.
So Mandos went up, got better, not only on the Shadow Collective side, but over on the Rebel side as well. Though the Rebel players in our local area still don't really see that as, the saving grace of them.
Mm-hmm.
Talking to, Outsider Dan and Jeff about it, they did not seem too enamored with these drops.
Yeah. No? They don't like it, huh?
No.
Too bad. Nobody cares.
It wasn't enough.
Not enough. Yeah. Oh, okay. I see. Man.
Dooku got 10 points off, which is funny that Force Choke is now 10 points, but...
Do we need to get the hats back out, Dan? All right. Okay. Any other big ones, Tums? You got another favorite?
The BX Shield's going down 8.
I tried to run the shields a couple times. You ever try to run those with your CIS? You've just done Battle Force or the Naboo invasion?
Yeah, just Battle Force. If when it comes to outside of Empire, it's basically semi-meme lists.
Yeah.
Is what I tend to play. So it's that full 8B1 saying okay, take them out. I'm happy with the BX changes.
Yeah,
like they just what I would love for them to do. And that's just because I like erratas, because points sometimes don't do the job.
You're right.
Because a unit can either be just slightly too efficient at one point or not efficient enough at another point. And
not granular really enough for you.
Yeah, and you start going back and forth, and it's a little tough. Where I would much rather have BXs get rid of their built-in AI and allow them to take one of the 3... AIs that came out with the dwarf and the tank.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, give them a program, so it's like either
and a trench coat.
Allow them to either run at people with engagement protocols or give them the attack protocols, and it's like, well, they end up getting a similar problem of the fact of, well, if you got the AI on them, well, they got to aim, which means they can't move and shoot.
Yeah.
Unless they're already in position, so you're giving them a drawback that way, rather than just they're useless as snipers right now because of how AI is.
Yeah, fair points. I like the idea of the shields. Maybe you can get you can't run swords and shields though, right? Yeah, no, so you can't kit them out all the way. Yeah, I tried to play them a couple times, just going with super tanky droids. So I had droidicas and BXs with shields just to be really annoying. Played it a couple of times, and it just, turns out it wasn't very good. But
well, droidicas did go down 5 themselves.
Hey, that's cool. I want to see my Rolly Boys back on the table. What's GG gun?
General Grievous's gun.
So that's free now, right?
Yeah. So and he himself went down 5 as well. Okay.
Yes. So that's cool. Yes. More gravy from Grievous.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about some of the erratas. We already talked about the Force Choke. What else did we see changed in there?
Jurkai was added to the CRB. So that's pretty straightforward because these units just came out.
Yep.
Blizzard Force, in a new edition of the HRUs going up and the officer going up. No more Operative Vader, which makes lore sense.
It does, and if you want to bring Vader, you're going to pay some more points for him now, I guess.
I think this ups the stock in the ATSD Blizzard.
Yeah,
and not just because I ran that last LVO, but.
You're hoping to be retroactively proven right, Dan?
Yes.
Okay. Retconned into being correct. Okay.
The second best type of correct. We didn't mention the Dark Trooper weapons going up in price.
Yeah, that's true. They did.
Guardian can no longer be used on something with the unstoppable keyword, which at the moment is just Dark Troopers.
Okay.
So, I'm just those were the obvious things that we knew were going to be coming, with some adjustment to Darks and some adjustment to Blizzard Force. And I don't think it completely breaks Dark Troopers,
No.
It definitely does tone them down, because if you're running double darks, that's 5 plus some 12, plus the officer went up 5, so that's what, 24, 29 points. And then you can't use the Guardian hack anymore, so yeah, 30 points up on a double Dark Trooper list is... You basically have to choose. That's a core unit, basically.
Fair.
Yeah. It really, most of them were about what I expect. It's like, it really doesn't affect a single Dark Trooper list a whole heck of a lot. It's like, okay, I'd possibly drop one core heavy weapon, but for the double dark, it's like, particularly a double dark remnant, it's like that really, it's like, okay, if you're going to do this, you're not having 9 activations. Or I should say 9 units with 11 activations. You're going to be pushed back down in your total number.
What were people using to Guardian them?
Royal Guards.
I was going to say that, but those are expensive too.
Yeah, but
if you're just using them as a health
sponge,
battery, it's what, 69 points if you don't bring their heavy.
Nice.
And then that's an additional 6
damage off.
6 hit points.
Yeah. Okay. If you really want to, you could throw some medics on them, I guess, or nearby. But okay, all right, that's fair.
Goldberg machine of health going there.
You want me to jump in front of the bullets for the unstoppable Terminator bots? Yeah, I'm not doing that anymore. We don't get paid enough.
Vehicle disabled tokens previously were, any movement is 2 actions for a vehicle. It's been errated to be pivoting is now only 1 action.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah. And then the last thing was promoting. It was worded before that if you had a field commander, you could promote somebody else to be the commander rank. Well, now if you have a field commander, the field commander has to be promoted as that. So it makes sense. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. Any final thoughts on these changes, points, erratas, or any otherwise?
I mean, it definitely breaks the Vader Blizzard.
Mm-hmm.
So we might see a rise if Blizzard does stick around. I'm curious if people see these erratas and then go, well, I don't want to play with you anymore. Toy Story meme.
That is your average Empire player. So
it'll definitely be interesting. It's like the biggest thing that it does is it just gets rid of those obscene 15 to 25 point bids that you would see with Blizzard Force sometimes.
We had a beautiful moment in time where people weren't doing that, and now we're back again. But we'll have to see how this shakes out. One last question for you, Tums. Are you going to continue playing CIS, or are you going back to your triple bikes? I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Yeah, going to put me on the spot. It'll probably stick. I'll still be an Empire boy at heart. That'll still be my...
That sounds like you're trying to justify something to yourself, sir.
Well, it's throwing out, I will say, throwing out double tanks and 8B1 units and just basically telling your opponent, can you deal with this?
I can't even deal with it.
Is quite fun. And it's not quite the like melee skew. Like I'm not a big fan of doing like the Vader triple do back, like IRG, just be like, okay, if you can't stop me, I win.
Wait, hold on. Could you write that? I got to write that down. That's it.
Do back flamer to go down 5 points. Anyway.
No, well, that has actually made me look back at my LVO list from 2022 because I had a Krennic gun line and I had 2 dewbacks as my linebackers. But I only put on the T21s because I didn't have the money or the points to do the RTCs. Now with the RTCs coming down, that means I can have every single one of my units minus Krennic can have a range 4 gun to be shooting while I wait for you to come up. So that list might be dusted off a little bit.
That does sound fun.
Come at me, bro.list. Got it.
And I do hope the objectives support that style of play. Oh, that's why you're going to go with the 21-point bid, so you can stack it in your... Okay. Oh, man, it all makes sense. Nefarious, dastardly even. All right, guys. Well, we went a little long for our first topic because this is a two-parter. This will be a supersized episode. Kyle, Tums, my dude, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us today. Where can people find you out in the world?
Best place to find me is just on Discord, with the new identification tag. It would be Tumnus Tefon, so Tehfaun.
Tefon. Okay, I see.
Tefon, Tumnus Tefon. Just a common misspell that I used to always do in chats on any online multiplayer game. So it just kind of stuck as an alternative nickname. So that's by far the best way to find me.
Cool. And we can you can hit him up for some Empire pointers or CS or whatever it is. But anyways, guys, we'll be right back after the short break with Luminous Gaming, BearChemist, Jordan, myself. That's the three people we're going to be interviewing, and myself and Dan, and we'll be right back, guys. Hey guys, Matt here to tell you about our friends over at 6UP Supply. If you're like me and don't have access to your own 3D printers, 6UP Supply has you covered with a whole suite of printing services to bring those awesome files to life. The Outriders are proud to be partnered with 6UP, and you can find special themed terrain, gear, and tokens with a big discount for Patreon members in the Outrider Central section of the website. And that's not all. You can also get terrain bases, game supplies, tools, LED kits, and more. Stuff is being added all the time. So stop by the number 6upsupply.com and use coupon code OUTRIDER to save 10% on your next order, and let them help you up your game.
You are receiving the Legion Outriders podcast. Ending the transmission now would be most unfortunate. And now, the Outriders.
Hello, Outriders. Welcome back. Matt and Dan here with you, and we are joined by the amazing Jordan, who is going to run us down on all the LVO stuff that we need to know. Dan, how many days?
You're just going to call me out.
I'm absolutely going to just lead with that.
You know, I try to make it more organic every episode.
All right. Just forget I said anything.
It's 221 days since you twisted my arm.
I knew you would know it. I knew it.
That was going to be my very first question. So I'm off.
But thanks for joining us on the show today. Jordan, a.k.a. BearChemist, a.k.a. Luminous Gaming, right? Did we get all the AKAs?
Yeah, we even threw in an amazing in there, so I'll take that any day.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll give that one to my wife. She'll never believe someone called me amazing.
Well, obviously she doesn't know you as well as we do, so. Las Vegas Open, sure, it sounds like it's a long time from now, but we could be preparing. What can you tell us about, because tickets are on sale?
Yeah, tickets last Saturday, the 10th, right? So we pushed today. They were supposed to be the 9th. We pushed today to the 10th because the, was it Leviathan, was scheduled to release for pre-order on the 10th. Mm-hmm. And FLG wanted to include that in one of the ticket packages. So we hard pivoted to the 10th, just a day late. And sold some tickets quickly.
Hey, I mean, it worked out for me because the original sale date, I was going to be on an airplane. So I'm very glad it got moved, honestly.
Yeah, Saturday was a store championship that I had. And so on our lunch break, I said, all right, everyone, at 1:00, tickets go on sale. So we'll delay a little bit so you guys can get your tickets.
And everyone on their phone just swiping down to refresh and refresh. Yeah,
that's about right.
So are they all sold out?
You know, we're really close. One of the things that we did this year was expand the main event for Legion. Last year we were 150 is what we ended up having, and so after talking with LJ last year and some of the format changes, which I'm sure we'll get into, I really wanted to just try to make LVO as big as possible. We're in this kind of unique situation where the number of days and the format and the size, right? Trying to get those nice even round numbers where we really need to see some explosive growth to really get to where we have the nice round numbers for for cuts and things like that. So we took it up to 180 players for this year. So we added about 30 spots. And FLG thanked them because they said, "Hey, we got the space. If you can get the community to come, which it's LVO, they're going to come. Let's be real.
Oh yeah.
Then we can increase." And not going to lie, there's potential to continue expanding, and that's all dependent on terrain.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit more about tables in a bit, but yeah,
that's a lot to house. But yeah, last I looked, there were less than 20 tickets left. All of the premium packages sold, and they sold within, I think, 40 minutes.
They sold out in like at least from the timestamps I was looking at, and then looking at the chatter on Discord, I think it was like 25 almost, or maybe 30. So it went, the premium package. I did pick up a premium package myself. Thank you.
Yeah, why would you not? We added some stuff to it this year, so we were trying to plan on what we would add. And one of the dice bags was something we added this year, which I thought was really cool. But really, we can use them as token bags.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds exciting, and I'm sure there will be a waiting list as well, as we usually do for these kind of events. But for those that, I know what a Las Vegas Open is, LVO. Dan knows what it is, and certainly you know what it is, Jordan. But there might be some new players coming into Legion that don't know what fabulousness can be had at a Las Vegas Open. What can you tell us about the events and things going on there?
Sure. So LVO, as we like to affectionately call it, or Las Vegas Open, is Frontline Gaming's premier event. It is the largest event that they hold. Thousands of unique badges. We essentially take over one of the casinos in Vegas, and this year we'll be back at Rio, which we've been there for a few years, so everyone has the familiarity with the casino, and renovations have started.
Oh, really?
Yes. So renovations have started on Rio. Almost $800 million worth of renovations. So someone is really investing heavily. So we should see, hopefully by January, some new rooms and updated rooms and things like that for us, which is exciting. But at LVO, for Legion specifically, we will have our World Open qualifier. We are officially a World Open qualifier. So that means that top 4 at LVO will get their invites to Adepticon and World Champs next year in March, right? So you just come top 4 at LVO, and 2 months later you get to go to Adepticon.
Nice.
That also means that the top overall finisher also gets that nice prize pack where they're looking at accommodations or travel and whatever comes in with the special overall.
Right, which is a good incentive to pick it up at this event over the store kits that are going out that do have the World's Invite in there.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That you get that added bonus of the travel paid in there for you. So we will have 3 days of gaming, which is really exciting. So in a change from years past, we are moving to a new format. And that new format ensures more gaming for more people. So last year we had all players play, and then we did a cut to like 64 for the next day. And then from those 64, we did a second cut to the top 8 on Sunday. But what we decided is we have pretty good tiebreakers as far as tiebreakers go. And we wanted to ensure that the more of the community was able to play more Legion. And so everyone is going to play 2 days. So everyone gets to play Friday. Everyone gets to play Saturday. 3 games each day. So you're guaranteed 6 games of Legion at LVO this year, which is pretty awesome. And then we'll make the cut at the top. So we'll cut to the undefeateds, and then the folks that end up with the best 5-1s essentially from the tiebreakers for the Sunday cut.
Nice, because that was I wouldn't say a constant comment, but one of the things of feedback we got from previous ones was some people didn't feel like they got enough games in.
Yeah, sure. We understand that LVO is a commitment. It is Vegas, so yes, you're going to be paying $29 for a dinner when you go. Okay. I'm not going to say for a steak dinner because you might be paying $99 for a steak dinner, but we understand that there's a commitment there, and so we wanted to make the change and offer all the games. But we are still going to have the extra games on Sunday.
Oh, good. I was getting a little worried. So what can we expect if, for the one or two people that probably don't get to go play on Sunday?
Yes. So the one or two people that don't get to go play on Sunday, we're going to have some fun events run by some fun people. Let's talk about a doubles event. So our hillbilly from the mountains has decided to come out and bring his moonshine to Vegas. Ryan Slowoski is going to come run and be our head person for the doubles event. And he was one of the head people for the doubles event last year. And that's the event where you see the best pitchers and you see the people running the craziest lists. The most cosplay pops out at that point, right? And then we're also going to have the unconventional warfare event going as well. And so that is a special format where you get some bonuses, unique army construction, and we'll make sure to get that up for everyone to take a look at to make sure they have all the army pieces neaded for those. And those are real fun events, and they'll have their own prizes and stuff.
There are some hilarious things you can do with unconventional warfare. I have run 5 special forces in attack strike list on that, and I've come up across triple Gav, triple E-Web with that as well.
Gav, triple E-Web. Motorized artillery.
Yeah.
Or mechanized infantry, however you want.
And so are those events going to be run simultaneously, or do you get to pick one?
Well, you do have to get a ticket for either one. And I'm not quite sure if we're going to be able to stagger them at this point. That is the goal. So if someone wants to participate in both of them, it'll be a 2-round and a 2-round. But I have to figure out if the hall is going to close later or earlier on Sunday, and that'll be determined. So I'll know that here in a few weeks, but we've got a few months till LVO.
Okay. So folks going to be traveling in. It's not all just Vegas locals there. As much as Dan would like to convert all of the populace.
I rally as many locals as I can, and we do have a strong showing. So
they're not going to stay at your house, Dan. They do have blocks of rooms set aside. So what can people that are going to be traveling and flying in, they get a discount, right?
Yeah. So for everyone who wants to stay at the Rio, there will be a discounted room block offered through the Rio for those attending the event. And we didn't put up the link this week. We just wanted people to be able to get tickets, concentrate on that. And then we will have, I think, about a week or two, we will have the link up for rooms with the discounted rate. So it's usually like there's no resort fees or that type of thing. So it's a pretty good chunk of money that we get off on the rooms. And we will have 2 different room types to choose from now.
Ooh.
We do know that option is coming. I don't know what the room types are yet. I think we're waiting on some pictures, and there's going to be some digital sketches and things like that, because part of them will be the renovated rooms.
Oh, very nice. Okay.
Yeah, that's really exciting. For those who've been to the Rio, it needed a facelift. That's okay.
It's not like it was run down, but it has been there for a while. But so it's always nice to be able to throw $800 million at something.
Yeah. Well, part of that 800 million, and I know I'm straying here a little bit, is a new sports arena being built in the empty parking lot in the back.
Oh, dang it. Hopefully it won't take up the parking that we use for the convention center.
Yeah, that's
really good parking for locals to just park right next to the convention center and walk right in.
I don't know if they've started on that yet, but I know that's part of the plan.
Not that I've seen, because Rio is literally on my commute to work alongside it, so I haven't seen any major construction out there yet. But
all right, Dan, will you keep us up to date?
Yes, I'll do the Rio construction updates. And yes, I'm waiting for the first inevitable post somewhere to say, "Oh, where's the room block for Bally's?" I know it's been a couple years, but please do not book anything at Bally's. We're not there anymore.
It's a little bit of an Uber. Yeah.
Yeah, and definitely look into the Rio. I mean, using the room blocks really helps events, because oftentimes the Frontline Gaming or any event that you go to, they're guaranteeing those rooms. So being able to stay in the room block helps us out. It helps us to put money where we want to put money, which is into the event, into getting streamers qualified, into prizes, into improving the ticket packages and that kind of stuff.
Nice. Okay. So you're expanding, it's growing every year. It seems like Legion keeps expanding and just absorbing more hall space, which is absolutely wonderful. Tables, huh? I know we had a blitz last year to get so many tables, like doubled the amount of tables from the year previous. Where are we at now on Table Quest 2023?
So this will be a call to action to the Legion community. Like we said, we want to expand, and we're not limited by space. We can take over the entire hall just for Legion.
Game of Thrones doesn't need to be there. They can go somewhere else.
Those X-Wing Armada guys, no, they just roll out their mats and don't even have to deal with tables. Come on.
And they're loud. So we have the Frontline Gaming inventory, which currently sits at 65 tables. Right, so that's nice. 130 players that we have. Certainly, we have the Vegas locals that help us out tremendously, and you guys brought 10 tables, I want to say, last year.
Yep, we brought 10 last year to cover the remaining tables to make it 75 to support the 150 players.
Yeah, so we had 10 from the Vegas locals, which, hey, I'm going to need those again.
Oh, yeah. we're committed. I've already talked to the certain members of the community, and I've gotten I'm pretty much solid on those 10. I'm now scrounging for more. So.
Yeah, so if we're looking at 180 players, right? So now we need a total of 90 tables there. Right, so two people per table, and we're sitting at 65 plus your 10, 75. So we had to find 15 extra tables.
Dan,
yeah. So
where are they, Dan?
Let me get the 3D printers fired up then.
Yeah, so my 3D printers are currently running. I'm going to contribute a couple there.
Nice.
I mean, I have my personal stash of 16, but I'm not shipping 16 tables from Florida.
I was going to say that's quite a bit of travel there for those things.
Yeah, and so certainly Vegas locals, folks who want to contribute to help grow events, we are looking for table donations. Even if you have something where you think you can do a 3x3, I will take it, absolutely, because we can pair it with someone else who can do a 3x3 to create one table. If you have someone who has pieces lying around that you haven't painted for years, reach out to me on Discord, reach out to me on my website, email, carrier pigeon, however you want to get in touch with me to help grow these events. My ultimate goal is to take this to a 256 player event.
Ooh.
And I know that's years in the making, but that's the ultimate goal. And so we can't do it without the community, without getting tables. I do have a commitment from Frontline Gaming to get terrain as well. So I know they partner with some good folks to help us with terrain, but I love seeing it come from the community because then it becomes ours, right? And you walk by and you go, that's the table I made. And then you talk to people, how did you like it? How did you play on it? How was it? And it sort of generates those conversations when you run into an event with 180 people and you know 5 of them, right? But you can go talk to someone who played on your table, and it's a good community building thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you say donate, you're not keeping them unless you would actually like to give them over. I'm sure they'd be happy to have it. But just to loan us for the event, I'll be bringing my little crate with me because it doesn't all have to be on Vegas. People coming from California, Arizona, Utah, it's not too big of an ask to throw some terrain in a box and bring it with you.
Yeah, I mean, if you just happen to be driving down already, you got a little space in the car, please, we could definitely use the help.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad you said that. I wanted people to know that certainly we'll add to the Frontline Gaming inventory if you want to donate and have that table travel. Awesome. We'll take it. Beer on me. But yeah, if you're driving in or if it's a reasonable shipping cost to you, let's talk. Let's try to figure out something to bring down those tables and help get this event going. I do have some Florida guys preparing some tables for me here. I'm trying to convince one of my locals to let me use his Kenner AT-AT.
No. Nice.
Bring it out for a table. I don't think it's going to happen. He lets me use it for my locals. I don't think he's going to let me bring it with me to Vegas, but we'll see. I would love to make that appear on a table because it just looks amazing.
And it can be just the buildings or terrain that goes on the mat because Frontline Gaming does actually supply the entire event with mats.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about mats, just the actual stuff that goes on it.
Yeah, that's 100% correct. We'll have the accoutrements. We just need the actual tables, the terrain.
Yeah, so make sure to reach out if you are able to help in that way. But there's a lot more to these events. You kind of touched on it there. You're walking up and you're meeting new people with a shared, love of a game and a hobby there. But there's also opportunities for social events of these things. We've done Hofbrauhaus the last couple of years. Any plans for that?
Yeah, absolutely. We want to try to do a couple of things. I mean, one of my favorite parts of Legion, obviously besides playing the game, is when I travel to these events is being with everyone after the event, talking about your successes, lamenting your failures, showing me the picture of the 5 crits that Den rolled when he was melee and Boba.
Complaining about Blizzard Force.
Yes, exactly. We can drown our sorrows in the heat and the beer from Vegas, far away from Blizzard Force. But Saturday night, we're certainly going to have what I'd probably consider our main social event. We're looking to go to Hofbrauhaus again.
Yay!
For everyone who went last year, be on the lookout. Someone's going to get a spanking.
It's not going to be LJ this year.
Jordan. Hey, buddy. I like that you're literally putting your butt on the line here.
Yes. Go home with a few scars and memories. And then Friday night, we are looking at doing what we're going to call an after hours event. But it's going to be after hours in the hall. So we have all these Legion terrain pieces set up. We have all of our tables ready to go. We're trying everything we can to do a Shatterpoint event, a free Shatterpoint event that night. In the hall. So Frontline Gaming has really been wanting to promote people staying in the hall and having these after hours events. So we're looking at doing something with Shatterpoint. So we'll have some news with that coming. We also explored doing a trivia session in the hall, some Star Wars trivia, which was kind of fun. And our good friend, the Trash Panda himself, Evan, was considering leading that trivia, which would be kind of fun. So we got a couple things planned around, but we're going to have something Friday night.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah, looks like Shatterpoint was just still too new of a game to get an official FLG event, but yeah, we'll definitely hoping for a good showing
this year.
Yeah.
Interestingly, I actually happened to talk to some of the new folks at Atomic Mass Games this past week when we were talking about LVO getting the qualifier status. And I mentioned that, hey, are you interested in having a Shatterpoint championship or event at LVO? And they sort of said, well, maybe we'll kind of get back to you. So they're thinking about the organized play and that for Shatterpoint, which is kind of interesting. So I know it's on the radar. I don't think it'll be for LVO this year, but I wouldn't be surprised if some AMG people show up and sort of tour the floor and walk around the con and all of that at LVO. No promises, but I just wouldn't be surprised.
No, it'd be great. And definitely it's probably percolating in their brains now. Obviously they want to have all the fun and community and championships and everything these kind of games engender. But yeah, it did just come out, so might take a little bit of time.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah.
So if you want your table to be seen by someone from AMG, make sure you bring it out with you.
Yes.
No.
Okay. Yes. Or yes.
And I'll tell you what, we'll do a table contest. You bring me a table, we'll do a table contest. You heard it first here on Outriders.
Yay!
Oh, nice.
Dan, are you ready? Are you ready to defend the honor of the Outriders? I'm saying that we have honor now, so that
Since
you must
when
defend.
did we?
Yeah, I don't know. Shame we got rid of a long time ago.
Yeah,
maybe a little honor still. Well, that sounds freaking awesome. I'm looking forward to it again, even though I'm not going to be. I'll be traveling in like the rest of the schmoes out there that don't happen to just roll out of bed and drive down to the Rio Center that morning. But yeah, anything else that we want to bring up? People need to know or should know.
We should have player packets up soon. They've been finalized, so that's not the issue. But we're sort of putting all of the nice, pretty finishing touches on them. Once that goes up, we'll certainly have it on the website, and we will on the Frontline Gaming website, and we will have it pinned in the Discord and the LVO channel for sure. And then you can catch it certainly on any social media out there where we have a presence, Discord, Facebook, all that kind of good stuff. Other than that, start prepping your list now.
Yeah.
This is going to be a fun time.
I mean, we just had the points change in Erratas, so
it's a whole new world out there right now.
Yeah.
Cool. And if people did, for the future people out there, they wanted to get on the wait list, yes. How should they go about that?
So we will have one on the website. So just like you would go buy a ticket, there will be a nice little section under where you would click buy ticket that says join waitlist. So we currently have one for another one of our events, Lone Star Open, because that one is expanding. And I will snap a picture and put it in the Discord and Facebooks and social medias there too, so everyone can see a picture of it. And then once we hit these sort of tranches of people on the wait list, we'll kind of release tickets like that, right? So LSO, I think we just released 10 more. So it jumped from 64 to 74 like today.
Hooray!
Nice. And I didn't put this in the show notes, but if you do purchase anything off of the FLG web store, make sure you're using the referral link from our good friends over at Yavin Base, just because I believe he's a partner now with them, so he can get a little something for that.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so Endless is a what they call an affiliate. So he gets easier access to streaming at Frontline Gaming events. So they'll set up equipment for him and stuff like that. And he will be streaming at LVO.
As he does, and does a fantastic job at it. I mean, that is sitting there and playing the games is one thing. Watching other people play games for that amount of time and paying attention to everything that's going on, and man, that is...
And commentating on it.
Yes, yeah.
And talking the entire time.
Yes.
Yeah, he does a fantastic job. Okay, well, that's pretty much it. We'll definitely have some more information coming out as it gets, closer to the day. What, 221, Dan?
Yep, 221. And of course, we'd love to have you back closer to the date, too, as new things come up.
Maybe when we get down to double digits. How about that?
Absolutely. Anytime you guys need me or want me, I'm here.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
I aim to please.
Okay, Jordan. So where can people find you online?
I get the call out here.
Yes.
So certainly I'm one of the admins on the Legion Discord. So you can find me under BearChemist / Luminous Gaming. I'm pretty active on there during my lunch hours and certainly after hours when I should be watching my dog. I'm secretly on Discord. And then on Facebook, which is just Facebook / Luminous Gaming. And then I'm a local to Tampa, Florida. So anyone who comes down to vacation, let me know. We have a massive community here in Florida. We will find you a game. You're going to Disney World? Let us know. We'll get you a game while you're here.
Very nice.
Nice. So you are the Florida man of Legion.
Yeah.
You say it like that.
Yes.
But yes, I am DanTech or Outrider Dan on the Discord and sometimes hanging out in your streams.
Sometimes, yes. But thank you. You can find me on Twitter at @GRN_Archer or on Twitch, twitch.tv/Captain_Archer. Otherwise, thank you everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you next time, Outriders.
This concludes the current episode of the Legion Outriders podcast. You may cultivate a tactical advantage by observing the Outriders on Facebook or Twitter at Legion Outriders. Wisdom advocates subscribing to the podcast. Acting otherwise is reckless.